Hello, everyone. Good evening. And I want to take this time to thank you guys for all coming to listen to my career assessment video. At this point, I will be sharing my screen and showing you guys a PowerPoint that I came up with. We had to do an assessment on our strengths and the different things that we find that will be helpful for our career. So this career assessment that we took, it came in different points and different parts, and it was pretty interesting. Some things I knew, some things I didn't know, and yeah, it hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as I did taking it. So my career assessment, the first one was talking about our work interests. And my work interest, my top three was a social, which is the helpers, enterprising, which is the persuaders, and artistic, which are the creators. So the social, the helpers part would be more geared toward my degree, which is in individualized studies with a focus on advocacy in the school system as well as in the general public. And with enterprising and the persuaders, I will be persuading people to help others and showing them how to get the services that they need in order to make the life easier for themselves and their family. And the artistic part of it would be the creator, which is finding creative ways to give people the information that they need in order to succeed and to help their families. So with this, it came up with a personality assessment. My personality assessment, it told me that I approach work and life with a positive concern about people. The other thing that came up with is I recognize and appreciate the potential in everyone and the problems and how to get people to reach their full potential. Another personality assessment I have is being flexible, spontaneous, and to keep my options open, which I find pretty interesting because when you're advocating for people, you definitely have to be flexible and spontaneous, and you have to come up with ideas quickly on your feet. You can't just be like, well, sometimes you'll have to look up different things, but being able to be flexible is a plus because not everyone works on your schedule and not everyone can get things done as quickly or the way you want to get it done. Sometimes you have to be a little creative with it. The other thing is I find it easy to adapt to changing situations with the different jobs that I have had in the past, working at the VA hospital, as well as having a total career change and working in engineering. That was a huge change that I had to adapt to, but it just became very easy and flawless to be able to make that change. Coming up with new ideas and ways of doing things, which is totally up my wheelhouse because I love to create and I love to be creative and come up with new ideas and situations and things of that nature. Enjoy projects that explore new concepts about human understanding, well-being, and helping others. That is pretty much where my degree will be focusing on, is coming up with new ideas to help people, whether it's navigating through their IEPs or just finding different situations and ideas on how to help my students to succeed as well as their families. At this time, I am presently applying to work as a volunteer at a domestic violence center, which would be helpful in working with the students with IEPs as well, when you're learning to understand some of the different backgrounds as to what students have to go through and have to deal with day to day. That will help you to be a little bit more sensitive to their needs as well. Realizing that sometimes they're reacting from things that has happened to them in the past or at home or whichever. For the leisure part of the assessment, back again, it says aesthetic, which is the creator. Saying that I'm creative and intuitive, and I enjoy writing and open and imaginative, which is totally me. I love to write. I take writing classes for fun. So that is definitely true. Sharing is the other piece of it, which is helping others, which I've already explained before, with helping people to find resources. That is what I love. I originally figured that I would love to work in the school and to teach special ed, but I do believe now, the way things are going, and as I continue to study, that my passion is more of helping people to find resources. It's like I just get great joy in when people have an issue, and I can just be like, okay, let me help you to figure out, let's go this direction or that direction, or here's a number to call. So, which is nice. And the other thing is reality, which being I'm a doer, which is hands-on, working with tools, of course, being frank, genuine, and humble. I love working with hand tools and things like that, but not so much to the point where I want that as a career, but I do like that in my spare time. The other piece to it was values and the things that we value. And I do value creativity. I love to craft. I love working with kids with crafting and becoming creative. So for instance, I had a student that was refusing to work. And their teachers was like, well, if you just can get him to just not hit anybody, we're good. Well, that didn't sit well with me. So I just decided to become creative on getting him to do his work. So I told him, if you can do just a few of these math problems, then we'll do a craft project. And that student loved to rap. And so I told him, rapping is just poetry. So after to do his other part of his assignment, which was doing his sight words, I had him to write a rap or a poem with his sight words. And then we created like a picture of whatever his words were. But the thing was, it was nice because it helped with my creativity piece. Goes well with my helping others and being an influence, because he was able to complete his project as well as his assignments that he wouldn't work for anyone else. So that worked out pretty good. The skills that I possess would be listening, problem solving, and teaching. Just like I stated previously, just coming up with an idea to solve the problem. The problem was the student was refusing to work. And well, the way I came up with it was, let's do a project. But before we do a project, you have to do this assignment. And then incorporating his assignment with the project as well. And then the teaching aspect of it is me teaching people how to become successful and to be self-sufficient with their families, coming up with ideas and directing people to the right agencies that they need to talk to and need to get a hold of in order to fulfill their needs. And listening is just being there and listening to someone. Sometimes people don't necessarily want advice, they just want someone to listen. And it's nice to have that effect, to be an effective listener and being an active listener. And that is a skill that takes a lot of time and patience, but it pays off very well, because then you realize that what I thought that I can direct someone to help them was not really what they needed. But when you physically and sit there and listen to them, you realize, okay, this is what they actually need. So my career mission statement is to inspire and empower people to become self-sufficient and the best advocate for themselves and their family. I derive my mission statement from previous experiences. My son has an IEP with school, and a lot of times, IEPs can be very intimidating and confusing. And sometimes, as a parent, you just need someone to be there to help you to be able to navigate in plain language, other than the language from the staff, and to find out that, hey, you're not in this by yourself. You have someone that can help you, and let me help you and let me assist you in finding the resources that you need to better help your child. So the recommended jobs, that this assessment came out with is that people with my personality are attracted to occupations where you can help people learn new skills, improve their psychological well-being and their physical health. And some of the examples were counseling, teaching, health science, psychology, and arts and literature. But the other part that I left off my presentation that I found very interesting, one of my top careers was a funeral director. Not sure how they derived that with the fear I have of the living impaired, but yeah, I found that very interesting. But then when you think about the different things that funeral directors have to go through with dealing with families and, you know, being a helping hand and a listening part, I can understand where they got that from, but that would be something I'm never interested in doing. And yeah, that is all of my PowerPoints that I have to show you guys. I want to thank you again for listening and your patience, even through my technical difficulties. And I'm excited for this career change that I am making to become an advocate for children as well as their families. And hopefully you guys will be around and be with me on my journey. Thank you again for listening. I'm sorry, I did not introduce my guest. Please forgive me, my apologies. I have my mom, Paula, my cousin, Tiffany, and my sister-in-law, Monet, that says Muffin on here. But I want to thank you guys, really, truly appreciate you guys for being patient with me and sharing. Thank you.
Can I make a comment
Of course.
about the IEP?
Yes.
Because 2 of my boys went through the IEP, and I feel like it makes them a little bit self-conscious, like they're not better than the other students.
Okay.
You know, that gives them a hard time in school.
Okay.
That's what I went through. You know, when you put the IEP on kids, you know, that's the way they feel, you know. But I appreciate it was beautiful, sis.
Thank you. Well, in response to that, with kids that can be a stigma with having an IEP, but it's up to, you know, like for myself, you know, my son has an IEP, so, you know, I'm always telling him, oh, you know, it just means you're getting extra help, you know, and just letting them know that, you know, you're getting the extra help that you need, and is there, and the other students can get the extra help as well. They just have to ask for it, but I asked for it on your behalf. So yeah, thank you. All right, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.